A narration begins, painting a picture of Earth's transformation, where wars and famine have become distant memories. Nature thrives, medicine conquers diseases, and humanity, guided by the optimism and vigor of youth, ventures into the depths of space in search of extraterrestrial life. Among these explorers is Max, whose journey takes a sudden turn when his spacecraft is struck by an asteroid, forcing him to make an emergency landing on an unfamiliar planet. Despite the chaos of the crash, Max remains resolute, determined to explore his new surroundings. As he steps outside, his shuttle erupts into flames, cutting off his communication with home. Undeterred by this setback, Max begins to survey the landscape, noting its striking similarities to Earth. However, before he can fully assess his situation, he is apprehended by a native inhabitant of the forest. In an effort to bridge the language barrier, Max inserts a translator capsule into his ear, allowing him to communicate with his captor, a person named Zeph. Soon, Max finds himself in the custody of the planet's authorities, who subject him to an interrogation using advanced technology to probe his thoughts and memories. Meanwhile, Corporal Gas is tasked with escorting Max to the capital city, where they encounter peculiar phenomena, including a mysterious tower that abruptly collapses, revealing the presence of rebel forces opposed to the government. Amidst these events, the Wanderer, a figure of authority, orders the investigation of Max, while the Republic's prosecutor seeks information about a supposed savage taken in by the Wanderer. As tensions mount, preparations are made to activate defensive towers across the planet, signaling a looming conflict. In the midst of the chaos, Funk suffers a sudden seizure, causing alarm among the soldiers. Seizing the opportunity, Max seizes his chance to escape from the vehicle, his mind racing with thoughts of the unfamiliar world surrounding him. As he traverses the city streets, every sight and sound fills him with a sense of wonder and bewilderment. Meanwhile, a clandestine gathering of the enigmatic unknown fathers takes place, their identities shrouded in secrecy as they convene to discuss the affairs of the planet. Venturing further into the urban landscape, Max finds himself drawn to a local cafe, where a confrontation with a patron mistreating a waitress named Rada sets the stage for a fateful encounter. Grateful for his intervention, Rada introduces herself, revealing a familial connection to Corporal Gas. Their interaction sparks a series of events that lead Max into a deeper understanding of the societal dynamics at play. Back at Gas's residence, Max's curiosity about the world he now finds himself in prompts probing questions about the political structure and prevailing beliefs. It becomes evident that Rada and Gas have been deeply influenced by propaganda, their perceptions skewed by false information propagated by the state. Despite ideological differences, a bond forms between Max and Rada, fueled by shared experiences and mutual understanding. However, Max's newfound sense of camaraderie is tested when he is tasked with apprehending rebels whose actions are deemed subversive by the authorities. Witnessing firsthand the humanity behind their cause, Max grapples with the moral implications of his actions. His disillusionment deepens as he uncovers the truth behind the government's ruthless tactics and manipulative schemes. Events come to a head when Max defies orders to execute the rebels, opting instead to stand up for justice and the innate dignity of every individual. His act of defiance earns him the wrath of those in power, culminating in a tragic confrontation that leaves him gravely wounded. Meanwhile, the machinations of the unknown fathers continue unabated, as plans for aggression against neighboring states are set in motion. As Max's fate hangs in the balance, a glimmer of hope emerges with his unexpected recovery by the rebels, setting the stage for a final showdown where truth, justice, and the fate of the planet hang in the balance. In a twist of fate, Max survives against the odds, revealing a startling truth about the enigmatic unknown fathers who wield power over the populace. These shadowy figures, Max discloses, are not benevolent leaders, but a cabal of conspirators who have manipulated their way to power, eliminating dissenters and diverting attention from widespread poverty and corruption. Central to their control are the towers, emitting a special radiation that entraps the impoverished masses in a hypnotic trance, rendering them oblivious to their plight. However, a minority, including the rebels, endures excruciating pain, resisting the mental manipulation. Recognized as one of their own, Max is enlisted for a daring mission orchestrated by the prosecutor, aimed at sabotaging the towers. Amidst the chaos of gunfire, Max braves the danger, reaching the transmitter and triggering its destruction. Tragically, the rebel squad perishes in the fiery aftermath, leaving Max to seek sanctuary in Rada's apartment, where he unveils the truth about the tower's insidious influence. Despite his revelations, Gas remains skeptical, urging Max to return home with Rada. Their respite is short-lived, as guards storm the apartment, leading to Max's incarceration in a prison where he encounters the indigenous rebel, Z. Sharing news of the tower's demise and the loss of the rebel squad, Max's presence attracts the attention of the Wanderer, who seeks to exploit his unique immunity to the tower's effects. However, the prosecutor, fearing exposure of his complicity, strikes a deal to protect his own interests, leveraging Max's immunity to further his agenda. As Max and other inmates are dispatched to confront remaining threats at the southern borders, he attempts to rally the rebels to a new strategy, targeting the source of the tower's signal. Fueled by righteous anger, Max confronts the insidious nature of the tower's influence, revealing how they manipulate perceptions and suppress critical thinking, leaving only the rebels unaffected by their hypnotic grip. Amidst their plight, a new danger emerges as a self-propelled tank threatens their existence. In a daring move, Max commandeers the tank, rallying his friends for a journey southward to dismantle the towers at the border. Their path is fraught with peril as the military seeks to thwart their mission, leading to a fateful encounter where Max recognizes Gas among their captors. Despite his capture, Max remains steadfast in his resolve, determined to liberate his people from the shackles of oppression. Max bursts through the barricades, seizing the opportunity to enlighten Gas about the grim reality of their planet's plight. Gas's conviction in Max's accuracy solidifies when he experiences the absence of radiation outside the tower's range, sparking a surge of anger at the realization of his unwitting complicity in the government's schemes. Despite Gas's turmoil, Max endeavors to reassure him, emphasizing their shared purpose in challenging the oppressive regime for the sake of millions like them. During a pause in their journey, they encounter peaceful residents known as mutants, who extend gestures of kindness to the travelers, offering sustenance amidst the desolation. Moved by their plight, Max proposes to their leader, the Duke, the idea of rallying against the unknown fathers. However, the mutants, frail in body and spirit, are deemed ill-equipped to join the uprising, instead suggesting seeking aid from the island empire. With the promise of assistance from the Empire, the Duke presents them with an aging bomber, their ticket to traverse the hazardous contaminated lands. Yet, as they take flight, the aircraft succumbs to the tower's radiation, sending Gas into a frenzied devotion to Max, hindering their ability to navigate. Despite Max's valiant efforts to regain control, the bomber collides with a tower, triggering Gas's abrupt return to clarity, oblivious to his prior actions. Their escape is short-lived as the remnants of the previous war's automated anti-aircraft defense system bring their aircraft crashing into the sea. Miraculously, Max and Gas emerge unscathed, washing ashore where they stumble upon an abandoned submarine. Seizing the opportunity for refuge, Max leads them inside, unaware of the unfolding events in the city. Meanwhile, the prosecutor orchestrates Rada's abduction, masquerading as Max's ally to manipulate her allegiance. Armed with a recording of Max's escape, the prosecutor's sinister machinations threaten to unravel the fragile bonds of trust forged amidst the chaos. However, Rada remains unconvinced by the prosecutor's claims and staunchly refuses to aid him in his pursuit of her beloved. As a result, she finds herself unjustly imprisoned, her resilience unshaken amidst the adversity. Meanwhile, Gas, growing increasingly impatient for news of his friend, ventures into the depths of the sea to explore the abandoned submarine. Inside, They uncover evidence of heinous experiments conducted on prisoners, a grim reminder of the atrocities perpetrated in the name of power. Shocked and appalled by the revelations, the duo accesses the control room, where they bear witness to the brutal executions of Gas's compatriots at the hands of the island empire's representatives. The realization dawns that forging an alliance with such ruthless oppressors is not an option. Returning to the shore, they encounter a coastal patrol amidst the backdrop of a burgeoning war with a neighboring state. Like many others, they face the grim prospect of being thrust into the front line of battle, their fate intertwined with the unfolding conflict. Meanwhile, the Wanderer, keen to ensnare Max into his clutches, schemes to engineer Rada's escape, lamenting the disruption caused by the escalating hostilities. As Max and Gas are dispatched to the front lines, they are reunited with Zeph. However, their reunion is marred by the arrival of Fank, tasked with bringing Max back to the Wanderer's department. Refusing to abandon his friends, Max boldly confronts Fank, incapacitating him and tossing him into their tank. Despite Gas's blind obedience, fueled by the radiation's influence, Max maneuvers the vehicle to shield their unconscious comrades from harm. In a climactic showdown, Max's unwavering resolve is tested as he faces off against the captain, who accuses him of desertion. Drawing upon his last reserves of strength, Max confronts his assailant, ultimately prevailing in a bittersweet victory. As the dust settles, Max grapples with the loss of his friend, mourning the sacrifices made in the pursuit of freedom. Amidst the aftermath of battle, Max is presented with an opportunity for redemption, as Fank, now conscious, agrees to collaborate with the Wanderer. With a heavy heart, Max begrudgingly accepts the terms, his path forward fraught with uncertainty. Yet, driven by a steadfast commitment to his principles, Max resolves to navigate the treacherous terrain ahead, fueled by the hope of reuniting with Rada and forging a brighter future. Meanwhile, the prosecutor makes his way to the Wanderer's department under a veil of deception, orchestrating a clandestine meeting with Max. In a sinister proposal, he urges Max to orchestrate the downfall of the unknown fathers by divulging the coordinates of the Central Tower System control. Max is tasked with infiltrating the heart of the operation, unleashing a specialized radiation that induces waves of despair, ensnaring the populace, including the military. The prosecutor dangles the promise of liberation for Rada, imprisoned in the Wanderer's clutches. In this scheme, Max is positioned to ascend to the helm of the state, granted dominion over its fate. With Zeph by his side, Max embarks on this perilous mission, venturing into the belly of the beast. Upon reaching the central control center, Max issues directives to his cohorts, preparing for the detonation of a bomb should he fail to return. Despite facing initial resistance from guards, Max swiftly incapacitates them, forging a path toward the heart of the operation. Activating the depression mode, Max witnesses the harrowing sight of people succumbing to despair, manipulated by the insidious influence of the towers. As chaos erupts, Max executes his escape plan, triggering the bomb and fleeing the impending explosion. Yet, his respite is short-lived as the Wanderer closes in, initiating a tense confrontation. In a dramatic revelation, the Wanderer unveils his true identity as an agent of galactic security from Earth, deployed 2 decades prior to aid the planet. As the dust settles and the city grapples with the aftermath of the explosion, Max races against time to rescue Rada from her cryo-chamber confinement, confronting the Wanderer in a final showdown. As chaos descends upon the streets, a tumultuous power struggle ensues, casting a shadow of uncertainty over the populace. Amidst the turmoil, the Wanderer, consumed by fury, lashes out at a reckless student who inadvertently undermines his efforts. Oblivious to the economic repercussions and the looming threat of inflation, the Wanderer's actions exacerbate the state's dire circumstances, plunging it into the depths of famine and vulnerability to neighboring incursions. In the face of adversity, Max refuses to yield, embarking on a courageous resistance against the Wanderer's tyranny. Accusing the Wanderer of complicity in erecting the oppressive towers and perpetuating the enslavement of the local populace, Max confronts him with unwavering resolve. However, the Wanderer dismisses Max's accusations, invoking the immutable laws of history that dictate the cyclical nature of conflict and subjugation endured by rational beings throughout time. Undeterred, Max defiantly proclaims his allegiance to his newfound home, vowing to combat the scourge of inflation, hunger, and warfare until his last breath. With unwavering determination, he pledges to thwart any attempts to establish yet another society built upon the foundations of slavery and oppression. In this pivotal moment, R stands by Max's side, a symbol of unwavering solidarity amidst the chaos and uncertainty. As Max and R stand united against the oppressive forces that seek to subjugate them, the Wanderer's countenance softens, a wry smile playing across his lips. In this fleeting moment of recognition, amidst the chaos and turmoil, a glimmer of understanding emerges, hinting at the possibility of reconciliation amidst the tumultuous landscape of conflict and upheaval. And that is the end of the movie.